So we are going to make the magic chicken cordon bleu stromboli. This again is another recipe that I am anxious to try. We've made strombolis previously in the past, and we've just loved them. So not something that we typically eat when we eat out, not something that I normally make when I'm trying to come up with meal ideas. So again, that's another thing that I am thankful for with the meal kits is they give me these ideas and give us some recipes, some meals that I wouldn't normally come up with as an idea to make for our supper. So we are going to start. We are starting with a piece of foil, and then I have the press and seal, thank you. I have a layer of press and seal here as well. That is to help protect it when you put it into the freezer. So you start out with your pizza crust. So I've laid out my pizza crust and then just spread it out. You know, make it rectangle shape as best you could. Mine came out and got a little wonky in its shape. So I just tried to piece it back together and make it into the rectangle that it is supposed to be. So once you have your pizza crust laid out, then we are going to use 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. And hopefully yours doesn't spit at you. We are going to just spread that out on the crust. So again, my family likes mustard, so I am just pouring it on, so to speak, because they aren't going to mind if there is extra mustard on there. Again, I would take a brush and I would spread that around to cover your whole pizza crust. So excuse me a minute while I have to clean up my brush. Okay, so I'm just taking a pastry brush and I'm just going to smooth out that mustard, spreading it around on my whole pizza crust. So technically I think you could do it just on half. I already started on the whole thing, but that's not going to hurt anything. So we will have mustard on both sides of our stromboli, but you can do the mustard just on half of your pizza crust. So we have our mustard, and then we're going to layer our ingredients. So 8 slices of deli ham. Mine is not from deli, but it's close. It's a pretty good store brand, I think. It's one of our preferred packages of ham from the store. So we are going to be putting on 8 slices of ham and only on the top half of the crust. So top half, I'm going to end up actually folding it this way. So the lengthwise, so you end up with a square basically. So we are going to just layer on, in my demonstration, on the left half. So I have 4 pieces of ham on there and we want 8. So there's 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I have my ham on my stromboli, on my pizza crust. Next, we are going to add the chicken. So we have 2 cups of the magic chicken. So I'm just layering that on top of the ham. And you can use a fork to spread it around. I did wash my hands, so I'm just using my fingers. And this is going to make a pretty thick stromboli. So I am trying to get the chicken as close to the edges as I can and still be able to seal it. And I'm trying to not be heavy with my toppings where my fold is going to be, simply because there's going to be enough bulk there with the folding of the pizza crust. So try to get your chicken spread out there. I think that looks good. It's coming off the ham a little bit, but that's just fine. That will be all right. And then we are going to top the meats with 1.5 cups of shredded Swiss cheese. Again, the store was out of Swiss cheese. I think we find that a lot these days when you're looking for something specific that it's not on the shelf. So I'm just using an Italian style blend. It's going to work just fine as well. So again, we want 1.5 cups of cheese. And my bowl is also a measuring cup here, so that makes it very slick. So I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of cheese to this. So it is cheesy. I love cheese. I hope you do too. So just spread your cheese around, and then all that we are going to do with this is fold it over and seal the edges. So grab the end of your pizza crust, and the whole thing is going to come, but and fold it over to the other end. So you have it folded over, and then pinch your edges together. So when you find that seam, I just kind of roll it and pinch it together. Make sure that it's sealed together, that those two pieces of the pizza crust form that crust, that seal, so that your ingredients don't happen to pop out of there while it's baking. Cheese may come out the sides once that is melting. Another tip that I'm going to share that the recipe does not call for, in the past when I have made the Stromboli, is I like to add the dried tomato and garlic pesto to the crust. So once you have the edges sealed, if you happen to have the pesto on hand, you can spray your bread, the pizza crust, with just the baked cooking spray, with Pam, whatever you happen to have on hand, whatever you use, and then sprinkle some of the dried tomato and garlic pesto on. That just adds some really nice Italian flavor to it. So I'm gonna do that. Once I've done that, then we're just gonna seal it up with our press and seal it up with our foil, label it, and put it in the freezer. Again, the instructions don't say to use a freezer bag, but I am going to put it in a freezer bag just for that extra protection when it's in the freezer. So there we have our magic chicken cordon bleu stromboli, another fantastic meal. So be sure to let me know how your family enjoys that one. Thanks.